Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lender who helps it grow. Lance Sexton, Delaney Sexton, Joseph Coleman.
Joe's back.
Joe's back. Joe, you're looking
I'm glad
good.
to be back. Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm glad that hey, sorry we're a little late. We have a last-minute technical glitch. Let's start. We have some interesting Fraud Friday stories, but I want to just talk real quick about the news of the day. Number one, please ask your questions during the week. We will answer those. We'll get them up on the show. Joseph, for our new training students, when are we doing the meet and greet next week?
Yeah, sorry about that. We pushed it back. We'll do it next Thursday, and people have started their courses. Yeah, and I see that people have already started them, and you could go at your own pace, and we'll do a formal meet and greet with Lance and Bob next Thursday.
I apologize. We did everything. We sort of had to put everything on hold last week. Secondary Market Summit has been rescheduled for February 1st. That's a Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Okay. We had other issues as well. Our title panelists were out last week, so it would not have been pleasant to attend that. News of the week, Lance. Let's go to you. You have your pulse on what's going on with SBA. We haven't heard anything for a while. Are they laying low? Are they working? What's going on over there?
I think they're still on holiday, Bob. I know that's not true. I'm just joking, but from a SBA lender's perspective and from somebody interested in SBA, it's been very quiet in terms of updates. I mean, we're all expecting some updates to the 5010-6, maybe not a new SOP, but at least updates. And Bob, how long have we been expecting a new servicing and liquidation SOP, the 5057?
Well, the good news is I never predicted it, so that's...
Well, I've been expecting it for a long time, Bob. I mean, one of the things about the 5057 too that tells the story, there was, on the recommendation for charge-off, the wrap-up reports were due within 2 years of 2015. The SOP 5057-2 is a very old SOP.
Delaney, you were on the conference call for SBA 7A Connect that was on Tuesday. Did you glean any information that would be useful for us?
There was not a whole lot of news. They did say they were going to try and get some of these SOPs out by the end of this fiscal year, but that's about all there was.
So, and with the change, with the legislation stalled, direct lending stalled, there's a lot of stuff that's being stalled. So we don't have too much news for you other than they're working on it and they're cleaning up portfolios and spending a lot of time with that.
Bob, one thing that, all of us know, we all thought PPP would be over by now. And so it's not.
Be over by now. Go ahead.
It's not even close. So we're still working through forgiveness. SBA is doing tons of reviews of PPP loans. Still investigating fraud. There's still a lot of PPP work for SBA and lenders to do.
Well, it's going to take years, obviously, yeah, especially to clean it up and get it off the books, which is their goal, and it should be. Get it off the books one way or the other, whether it's, and let's move on. Lance, you and I talk a lot to the younger generation. We talk to Joseph and we talk to Delaney. Be careful what you put up on social media.
Oh, absolutely.
At your own peril. You do it at your own risk. There's no good reason to do it anyway. So we, Joseph, just start showing some pictures. Let's get right. This gentleman was one of the loan brokers who was indicted, and he photoshopped himself in with Goodfellas, and we'll just call him Ted. And there he is playing the mafioso role. Go ahead. And this is off his Facebook. We didn't have to dig far. This is this company. They're out of Massachusetts. I don't know what all the money is, but if you read the fine print, it's creating solutions for finances. If you look on the window, Lance, you can see it does say SBA on that. Now, these guys were indicted. Actually, they're going to plead guilty on SBA Express loan fraud. And there were two loan brokers, and they got a banker to approve these loans, and they gave him the whopping sum of, Delaney, how much?
$15,000 out of a $285,000 loan fraud scheme.
Yeah, they got 500.
Wow.
He got $500 cash per approval. Next.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next. And this is off his.
Oh my.
And Ted says, funny you should say that. My family ran organized crime in New England for years. LOL. Not that there is any existence of mafia or Cosa Nostra, or whatever name you wish to give it. LOL. I mean, we're not making this, we're not making this stuff up. Next. Okay. So the Department of Justice did not say the bank. What we found out is Brian Ross, who is it? Brian Ross? What is it?
It's Brian Ferris.
Thank you. I knew I was wrong right when he was with TD Bank until 2021. We're not. That's all. That's the only connection I have. So, but we went through and ran the numbers. TD Bank is a huge SB Express lender, and the theme of this is when I was with Joseph and Brooks and my kids growing up, and Michael, I would say you are defined by the company you keep, and Lance, here you have a loan officer who's associating with this guy with all this crap on his Facebook page.
Yeah, Delaney was telling me about this story yesterday, and I was sitting thinking, hey, one of the biggest takeaways for me is the banker, first of all, shouldn't have taken any money,
Oh yeah,
but he destroyed his career for $15,000.
That's exactly what it is.
And
Destroyed all that earning potential. Go ahead, Lance.
I just am stunned. First of all, you have to be honest, follow the SOP, be a good SBA citizen, but to destroy your SBA lending career for $15,000 is really sad.
Yeah, and and he's going to lose more than his whatever jail time and finding it. I guess Delaney, he's going to be fined restitution of the $15,000. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that really sticks out here, Bob, he did this under delegated lending authority, which this probably potentially might cause problem with the bank's delegated lending authority. I don't know. It could. But I don't see how you would. First of all, you shouldn't do something like this, but this level really confuses me.
Well, also what was happening is our loan brokers were charging the applicant a fee of, Delaney, please chime in here.
It was
Go ahead.
$2,500 to $10,000 per loan.
Per loan. So they would
Wow.
get that directly from the borrower. They would pocket that. They did not fill out the 159. Mr. Ferris knew about it, did not complete the 159, and that's where the crime is, where he made a false representation to the SBA that there are no fees, and obviously he knew there were. So they failed. It was omitted on the 1919 on the 159, and that's when he signed those forms and transmitted to SBA. That's where the specific crime was occurred. Obviously, taking the money. They don't even have to go there, Lance. They go for the low-hanging fruit, which is you lied on the form game.
Yeah. Like I said, it just kind of hurts me because delegated lending authority is sacred in the SBA lending world, and you don't want to do anything to potentially harm the delegated lending authority that SBA is entrusted to.
And then the risk, obviously, to the bank is all those guarantees will be denied. Delaney, there was a clip in there that said that the majority, I shouldn't say the majority, a number of these loans did default, correct?
It did say that most of these loans defaulted, and most of these borrowers were not eligible to begin with. They lied about their identities and the business. So.
Oh yeah, there were fake tax returns. It was the full scam from that. All right, let's switch gears to Nicole Smith of BankServe. Joseph, She got 2.5 years. Joseph, you were out there. Delaney, you were out there. My first question is, I'm looking at this list. Why did she only get 2.5 years if she was fined the same amount restitution as Kelly and Carrie?
I'll go first. Nicole was really in her own, with the 5 defendants, she was in her own category in the sense that she was an employee. She wasn't the architect of the fraud. She did the bidding of her higher ups. What was proven beyond a reasonable doubt is the intent to do that fraud. I spoke with the juror the day after the trial ended, and the jury concluded that she was definitely involved in the intent of the scheme. So I think they proved that, and I think their sentence and the restitution reflects that.
Michael, go to the next slide, please. And here's the quote. Go ahead and expand on that, Joseph.
Again, just really focusing on the intent. The jury room deliberated, and they spoke quite a bit about Nicole. She got caught up in it, and she went the extra mile. She crossed the line. I think that's what they talked about. That's what the U.S. attorneys and the government attorneys, they proved that repeatedly with the falsified documents, and that it was, again, the intent was there to do that. So,
but the problem is, Lance, you and I are old enough. Someone tells us to do something, we'll take a hike.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. But you have as
Well,
I said, she was a rookie, and she's learning, and she learned how to do the fraud, and she continued to do it. I'm not defending her, but that's tough. That's tough, Lance.
Well, in our closer certification course, we talk about this, Bob. We talk about, you are the gatekeeper of the guarantee. You are the person that protects the bank. Nobody participates in SBA lending without having the assumption that the guarantee will be good. So if you're the person that is protecting the guarantee for your institution and something wrong is being done, you've got to throw your hands up and say no.
Yeah. And what this is proving to the industry, if your bank or your team leader tells you to do something and you say, no, that's a false statement, it's tough. But you don't want to be dragged down into this mess. And that's, like I said, for us old guys, it's easy to tell someone to take a hike. But for a rookie, new person, young, I'm assuming right out of school, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough.
Just out of curiosity, Delaney, Nicole Smith, how old did she appear to be? And
I couldn't tell you. She's definitely younger than the rest of them.
Well, I think the thing with her is the sentence is probably appropriate for her level of involvement, but boy, the restitution is what's going to destroy her.
Yeah, it's a financial death penalty, but again, Lance, it's not 6 months probation, or it's 2.5 years. Anyway, so the takeaway on this is, let's be careful on doing our job. Don't go blindly follow what the bank says. You are under other rules and regulations by your regulators, by the SBA, by the government. And if you need to get up to speed quickly, what is legal and what is not. So I'm not encouraging that we turn the entire industry into whistleblowers. I'm just saying, let's be prudent. And when you see something, say, let's discuss this further. Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah, I get phone calls and emails all the time, Bob. People just saying, is this appropriate according to the SOP? And I'm more than happy to answer those. So if you're in a younger role in SBA lending and you're not sure, seek the advice or counsel of somebody that's been in the industry for a long time. It doesn't hurt to reach out and ask somebody, hey, is this appropriate? Is this correct?
Yeah, they have SBA answers. There's a number of resources available to that. But that's sort of the theme that we are hammering home today. Let's see. Delaney, you were out there. What was your impression of Nicole and what they were saying about her?
I mean, they were, you know, her name was on a lot of the documents, so she constantly was, yeah, she did the work, she was taking the hits. But I think it was just really unfair that she got roped in. And, you know, her sentence makes sense, but I agree, the restitution is just striking to see.
Oh, question for Joseph and Delaney. In the trial, did you hear that she was signing the 1920s? The SBA Form 1920?
That is something I would have to look through my notes for.
Well, the reason I asked the question, Bob and I are always emphasizing that when you sign the SBA Form 1920 as a lender, you're certifying that the information is true and correct to the best of your knowledge. And you're certifying some other things. So I'm just really curious if Nicole was signing the 1920s. Because we always stress, if you're signing that 1920, you need to be sure that things are correct.
Yeah, the answer is, oh, I'm not going to guess. But
yeah, I'm not going to guess either. I think Kelly was the main one signing those, certifying all of it.
But Nicole did a number of correspondence with SBA, and as I said, she did the whiteout on the forms, and she knew to change things and change names and all that stuff. Anyway, we don't mean to ruin your Martin Luther King holiday with that, but and again, this is not what we're not talking about a one-off. Oh, we made a mistake. You know, that's not. This is a continuing. This has been going on for 10 years, Lance. This is not something that was a one-off and there was a mistake. And as you say, and when that happens, you're up for with SBA. Hey, we made a mistake. We're willing to do a repair. We may have to eat it, but you have to tell it when you have to be full disclosure. Okay, we acquired a portfolio and we found this mistake and we want to bring you into the loop and make you aware of it.
Well, I think you make a great point, Bob. If you make a single error, it's not going to end up in a trial like this. You're not going to go to jail. You're not, most likely. SBA's after someone who has repeated or continuing behavior. Yeah. And this was obviously an example of that. Hey, Bob, you did say something earlier that makes me think of a poll question. You indicated the concept of whiteout. So a great poll question would be not, do you know what whiteout is?
And no Googling it.
But have you actually used it?
Have you used it? You know what color it is. What the model looks. Real quick, Joseph, what's happening on our secondary market summit?
We are good to go. We have SBA on board, and hopefully we're working on getting Guidehouse, the fiscal transfer agent, and Bob Judge, and we're all excited. All the organizers are very excited.
Well, John's been a friend. John Wade will be there. He's in charge of the secondary market for SBA, as well as his staff or a couple of people from his staff. Obviously, it will be virtual. John was gracious enough. He understood, and he cleared February 1st for his calendar. It's going to be on that date. So we're going to have real quick, the agenda is we're going to have John talk about what's going on with SBA in the secondary market. We will have Bob Judge give his predictions for 2022. We'll have Guidehouse talk about, or we will talk about the new changes in the secondary market. Plus, we also like to talk about, we'll talk a little bit about B&I, what's going on with that, and other secondary market issues that you may be interested in. For example, SBICs and the Treasury's coming out. We will have a session on stimulus special programs and also state programs and what programs you can take advantage of for secondary market. And Lance, you're going to do your webinar in 2 weeks on what to do with this PPP loan portfolio amendments.
It's an evolving topic, Bob, and I look forward to doing it. It'll change between now and the 26th. So I'm going to try to share best practices on how to clean this up and put PPP to bed.
Well, we started late and we finished late, which I don't like to do. Sorry about that. But enjoy your weekend. We will not be here on Monday. We will be here, though, next Friday. Delaney, thank you very much. Joseph, good to see you. Lance, as always, thank you. Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a good weekend, everyone.